Hello, namaste, and welcome to another episode of the Khushbu Vet Show. Well, much like all my episodes, today I have a unique topic to discuss. But before I get to that topic, I am going to actually ask you to think about yourself in a situation. Now, think that you were reading a book which you love, or you were watching an intense movie, or you were cooking, or you were driving, and then someone sitting next to you or someone came to you and said that, hey, listen, Kushbu, I have something to tell you. And then you're like not paying attention, and the person again tries to reach you with a voice, and then you don't respond. Then the person taps you or increases the volume and shares that same moment, say, hey, why aren't you listening to me? And then you sort of react saying, oh, sorry, I was lost in my thought. Or you say that, oh, I didn't realize, what were you saying? That actually happens because you are in a slight state of hypnosis. Now, research says that we all go through hypnosis pretty much every single day. That sounds scary, but that's true. What really happens apparently is that your conscious mind was focusing on your thought, and your unconscious or your subconscious mind took control of the thing, the activity that you were doing, whether it was reading the book or driving or cooking in this case. And this whole process is a light state of hypnosis that we go through pretty much every day. Well, I'm no expert at hypnotherapy or hypnosis, but I definitely have a guest today who is an expert at not just hypnotherapy, but also many, many other things. So before I introduce her, let me tell you a little bit about her. Today, my guest is a wake up coach and a hypnotherapist. She helps people find out the blocks that are cause for their current state in life and how mindset can actually change rapidly. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I welcome my dear friend Tanvi. Well, Tanvi, welcome to the show.
Hi, Khushbu. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Wow, you look gorgeous as ever. I must say
Thank
that.
you.
Well, Tanvi, what exactly is a wake up coach?
Okay, so it's not what is a wake up coach, honestly.
Okay.
I actually thought of this randomly when I was, I was talking to a client of mine and I hadn't called myself the wake up coach as yet. And I was talking to her and I was telling her, you know what? You need to wake up to your patterns of behavior. You need to wake up to what is your mindset? What do you
Okay.
think about yourself? So it's about not, in fact, I had this what do you call this program that I was doing, an early morning program, and everyone thought wake up coaches getting up. It's about getting up in the morning and me motivating them to wake up at 5:30 and start their day. And I was like, no, 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 no. That's not what wake up coach is. It's essentially to understand and wake up to who you really are, waking up to your inherent worth. So that
Wow.
is, yeah, that's pretty much the base of what my work is. Yeah,
Ah, interesting. So it's more about identity. It's more about
absolutely.
the mindset, and it will be a better way of introducing you would have been that you are an identity and a mindset coach.
Absolutely, yes. Bang
Wow.
on.
And then along with that, you're also an expert at hypnosis
Yes, that's
or
right.
hypnotherapy.
Hypnotherapy.
Wow. I mean, let me begin by accepting the fact that I got very thoughtful, first of all, of introducing this topic from the podcast, because I'm sure there will be extreme suggestions or thoughts about what this whole concept is, and some may agree and some may not agree with this whole concept. But
Yeah.
if I had to personally share my view, of course, even I am very thoughtful. If somebody told me, hey, why don't you try out hypnotherapy? So, Tanvi, can you tell us what exactly is hypnotherapy?
Okay. So firstly, I will tell you what hypnotherapy is not. Everyone,
Okay.
when I happen to talk about hypnotherapy or when someone hears about it, they think it's like all this voodoo stuff and what they see on these entertainment shows where you completely lose control and you make the person do something. So firstly, if hypnotherapists could control people that much, they would be billionaires today, saying, "Okay, let's do hypnosis, let's write a nice check, and then get done with it." Uh, it's essentially about understanding. So hypnotherapy is, if I have to say it in completely layman's terms, okay, if you want to know why you are behaving in a certain way, or why you have self-doubt, or
Hmm.
why you are not being able to feel motivated enough, why are you not feeling confident enough, like you'll do all these strategies, right? You'll do all these things to get the thing done. Everyone gets into the how to, the strategy part of it. So, say for example, you want to lose weight.
Hmm.
Immediately, you'll get into the how to part. It'll
Yeah.
be about intermittent fasting. It'll be about hiring the best trainer, going to the best nutritionist, and they'll do the
Hmm.
work, right?
Hmm.
They'll start with the process. 3 months down the line, they'll start seeing results. 6 months down the line, maybe a little more, and then this plateau comes. A plateau of not losing the weight, but just this consistency of constantly pushing yourself. And you start telling yourself, oh, today's a Sunday, today's a cheat day. I deserve this. I'm feeling very tired today. So, probably an ice cream will make me feel better. Now, understand this, that you may have changed your habits logically,
Hmm.
right? But subconsciously, you still believe in something else when it comes to food, which is why a lot of times when you try to change externally, when you
Hmm.
try to do something through logic only, and you'll see your behavior starting to change a little bit, and then you go back to your old patterns. It's like smoking. You try to quit, and then you'll be like, okay, I'm 10 days into this test. It's been 10 days since I've quit. Then the first weekend will happen. Okay, one drink, yeah, it's okay. Ek drink ke saath chalta hai. That's the usual
Yeah,
conversation
yeah,
that goes on.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, the reason that happens is not because it's the person's fault that he's not able to control himself or herself. It's
Okay.
because the subconscious mind still believes that you're a smoker. He does not believe that I'm a health nut trying to quit smoking. The
Oh,
subconscious mind still identifies himself or herself as a smoker, and that's where the identity part comes in.
okay.
Similarly, when it comes to losing weight, it's like you have an image about yourself where I am someone who has the worst DNA, probably has no metabolism, so I'm a fat person trying to lose weight. So you're doing thin actions with fat thoughts.
Wow. I
You're
mean,
getting
that's
it?
so well put by you. Thin, what, sorry, can you repeat that for me?
You're doing thin actions but having fat thoughts.
Wow, I love this line. I'm going to use this somewhere. Interesting. That's a very unique and an interesting way of looking at it. And I think I personally relate with it because I have often gone through this fluctuation of weight kind of a conscious mindset myself. So I
Yes.
know what you're talking about, possibly. But Tanvi, one part is where you make people understand, even when you were making me understand what hypnosis is and why
Yeah.
does it really help and how does it really help.
Yes.
It was a very interesting journey. But tell me one thing, on this entire journey of becoming a coach, how did you discover this path? Because often we hear about NLP, we hear about different forms of coaching. This
Yes.
is very new for me. I have never heard, being a coach myself, that hypnotherapy can actually help in the entire process of coaching. So how does that happen?
Okay. So if I have to give you an example from my point of view as the kind of coach I am and the kind of people I help. Okay.
Hmm.
So you would probably be my the kind of client I would want to work with, because I have the confidence that I can help you. Why? Because
Hmm.
I help women, especially ambitious women, overcome self-doubt.
Ah, okay.
And everyone will think, no, I don't doubt myself at all. I don't doubt myself at all. But what people don't realize is that if you say have fear of judgment,
Hmm.
you're either judging yourself or you always constantly feel someone else is judging you.
Hmm.
Or if you have fear of failure, some people even have fear of success. I in fact recently had a client who's starting with me this week, and she's like, I think I'm afraid of failure. I said, why? If I had to ask you this, what is your fear of success? She's like, okay, I never thought of it this way, right? Now, be it fear of failure, be it fear of success, be it procrastination, be it lack of motivation, be it your mindset towards money, how you deal with money, what is your relationship with money, how do you show up every day in a conference room, how whether you're hiding, and when I say hiding, it means you want to say something, okay, in the room, say there is a meeting going on, your thought is right, your idea is probably right, but you're not saying it. All of this, so you have all this is happening here, right? It's on top, so the people who are just
Right.
listening to the audio, it's all happening on top, and think of it as a funnel. So it's literally like procrastination, lack of motivation, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, money, hiding, hesitation, all of this is on top. But if you
Hmm.
look at it, and as the funnel starts coming down, right, it all comes from self-doubt. So self-doubt essentially has a domino effect on all of these things. So that's the root cause of the self-doubt. But if you have to
Right.
go further down the funnel, okay, imagine the funnel is going down and it's becoming narrow, and you're at the tipping point of the funnel. Below self doubt comes your identity of who you think you are.
Hmm.
So again, if you have to look at the funnel and you look at, I'm trying all kinds of techniques, I'm trying these habit trackers, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm doing all the right strategies and reading all the best books in the world to figure out the how to. What happens is you're doing all of this, but if you look back at the funnel, the bottom of the funnel, who you believe you are is still the same.
Oh,
So what
interesting.
happened? Yes, and that, so in hypnotherapy, so coming back to hypnotherapy, why I include hypnotherapy in my coaching is that one is you need to understand and identify why do you believe this is who you are,
Hmm.
because who you believe you are is not what you can do, what you can't do, what is possible, what is not possible is not a function of your possibilities or your can'ts or cans. It's a function of who you believe you are.
Right.
And when you tell yourself, okay, this is me, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, you say it long enough, loud enough, big enough, you tell us lie long enough, it becomes a belief. And when you believe it, you live it.
Yeah, it's subconsciously, it's playing so much in your mind that it's
Exactly.
become a part of your life. Much like,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, you know how you
Exactly.
say that you never forget to drive. So if you keep saying I'm
Yes.
not confident, I'm not confident, I'm not confident, eventually you will find yourself in a space where you're not confident.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. But people understand this at a very surface level.
Right, of
They don't
course.
understand that whatever they tell their mind, the
Hmm.
mind is literally their servant, and the mind just follows it. And
Right.
because the mind, your mind, you've told your mind for so long that this is who I am, this is what is possible for me, this is how the world is, right? It starts ensuring that yes, this is what Tanvi wants or this is what Khushbu wants, and it'll make you focus on only those things. So if you, it's a pattern, right? So
Hmm.
coming back to identity and hypnotherapy, the reason I do hypnotherapy with coaching is for the person to understand where did this belief come from? That who am I? Why did I become? Because you were not born with this identity, right? When you were born confident. You were born not caring about the world. You were born probably the only two fears that you had when you were born is the fear of being dropped and the fear of loud noise as a baby. You were laughed at probably 100 times when you fell, like trying to crawl. You didn't care about whether you wanted to wake your mom up or your dad up at 4 in the morning to have milk, saying, "Oh, should I not?" No, I'm hungry. I deserve it. I need it, and you did it. You asked for it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. But over time, what happens, especially in our childhood, there are either it's parents or it's teachers or it's friends or it's experiences in life that you start taking in all of that and you don't realize what are you putting into your subconscious mind, which is essentially your subconscious mind drives 80 to 90% of your life,
Of
daily
course.
life, your behaviors, your habits, all of that. Once you understand where it came from, why am I not being, why do I feel like I'm not good enough? Why am I not getting that confidence? Why am
Hmm.
I not getting, motivation? Where did I develop this relationship with food? Because you can't solve a problem till you don't understand it. So first find the root cause,
Hmm.
reach, through hypnotherapy,
Yeah.
and then you start subconsciously rewiring that mind, because we are our patterns, we are not our behaviors. I mean, tell me if I'm going too fast, and if I,
No,
for the
not at
audience, I
all.
need
I
to
mean,
speak.
I'm completely with you, possibly because we both are coaches. We get what we are trying to
Yeah,
say sometimes. And
yeah.
this is an interesting insight for me as well, because, like I said, I've personally never tried it, but it definitely sounds something like a key which might sometimes help people go through or pass on a journey that I meet various kind of students a lot of times, or various kind of clients rather, I would say, a lot of times, where some of them, they, even for the first 2 or 3 sessions, they take some time to break through. They take
Yeah.
that, they don't want to break in front of you. They feel ashamed of what they are. In fact, they are amazing, but they go through this process of, no, maybe this much is enough, that much is enough, and it's at the surface level, like you said.
Yes,
And for us
absolutely.
to go deeper and deeper, this is I feel, a more effective and an easier way, because
Yes.
it's like this, that you've given your mind a chance to relax, and then go consciously in that subconscious mind zone where you can realize, okay, this is where maybe I have caused my own self to go through pain, my own
Yes.
self to go through that trauma, and I can release it. I
Yes.
mean, what better opportunity than that? But tell
Yes.
me, this is something as a coach I understand, and you
Yeah.
possibly are an
Yeah.
expert at this completely. But how does a client understand this? Like, I mean, if I am your client and I come up to you that Tanvi, I'm going through confidence issues or I'm going through XYZ issues,
Yes.
and then after a discovery session, you feel that hypnotherapy is a must for me. What
Yes.
exactly happens? What's the
Okay.
process like?
Okay. So I'll tell you, and I'll explain this with an example so the audience will
Sure.
understand it better. So I had one client. Okay,
Mhm.
she is extremely successful. She's doing really well for herself. She's in fact from media.
Wow.
And she said, Tanvi, I have everything. I am at a good post, but I still feel I'm not good enough. I am
Hmm.
still not able to ask for the raise that I want. I'm not able to command even my own team or say the CEO of the company when they know that, yes, creatively and, getting the work done, I'm good at it. But when it comes to sitting in the conference room with these top guys, I'm not able to get myself to stand up for myself, share my thoughts, my ideas. And
Hmm.
she's already successful. So imagine there's someone who is already there, but is constantly holding herself back. And imagine if she had not held herself back, where she would have reached
Yeah,
much earlier
yeah,
in life,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Exactly. So it's not like only when a person is not successful do they not feel good enough or they feel they don't have imposter syndrome or anything of that sort. So I said, okay, let's do this. Let's try and find out the root cause behind this. And you will not believe it, okay? There's this woman, this successful, beautiful woman. She's great at her job, okay? Always proved herself. But when we went back in time and when we do hypnosis, it's not that you lose control, it's no voodoo stuff. It's essentially, yeah, it's just that the conscious mind relaxes, your nervous system relaxes, and it's a gateway to the subconscious mind to get memories, the only memories that were the root cause behind this belief of why you feel you're not good enough,
That
right?
limiting belief, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's not like the subconscious mind will throw random memories. When you ask a specific question, and I'm repeating, a specific question to the subconscious mind, it will give you those specific memories as to where these beliefs started becoming stronger. So when
Wow.
we did, yeah, exactly. So when we did the session with her, she was back in school where she comes from this middle class background, not so bad, little probably above middle class, but the friends that were surrounding her in school were these really fancy girls with, I mean, super upper class and having everyone do everything for them. I mean, not even picking up their own shoes after coming back from school. That kind of a crowd, super fancy. And so where she's at a birthday and she's literally in the seventh standard, and she's ashamed that the gift that her mother has got for her friend is not good enough, and they
Oh.
are literally judging her, saying, okay, like, what have you got for us? I mean, this is not happening. So it started there. Then she's in the ninth standard where there is a party going on with all the boys and the girls are there and everyone's coming to the center, and she's shying away because she's like, I'm not wearing the right dress, I'm not wearing the right clothes. I don't feel good enough to be able to be in this crowd. I'm not at their level from a worth point of view. So that's where the confidence, and there were similar situations as she went to college, and it sort of stopped there. But the belief was formed when she was in school, when she was just about a teenager.
Yeah.
So when she understood this, it's not about only going to a party, and if you see someone who is wearing a Prada or a Gucci and you don't have that and you don't feel good enough, the subconscious mind does not differentiate the areas in which you will not. It will,
Right.
once the belief is there, it will
Hmm.
manifest in all the areas of your life,
Wow. I
right?
mean, such simple examples, but this reminds me one of my clients, and she was going through something very, very similar. And yeah, I agree with you that how sometimes these little tricks that you have in your pocket as a coach can really help somebody on the opposite side, and the way they can open up after that. So it
Yes.
definitely helped her after it, I'm guessing.
It definitely did, because what happens is, so she was one case, another case, if I had to say, where this client was feeling extremely anxious, and she thought only when the pandemic started, she started feeling a lot of anxiety, and it was affecting her work. She was getting anxious about her job. She wanted to change her job, but just not being able to get that confidence was not there. She knew she deserves it. She knows she needs to speak up for herself, but constantly living in anxiety. Now, when I
Hmm.
asked her consciously, when did this start? It started 2 years back, is what she told me. But when we went back in time, It started when she was a child and she saw her father coming back in the rickshaw because he had a bad accident, and she felt helpless. She fainted. The next scene was where she's in the hospital, her grandmother's in the hospital. Again, she saw the hospital bed, she saw the sickness, she felt helpless, anxiety, she fainted. So the root cause was something completely different. And when the pandemic started, that is when it came up. It's not that it was never there, it was just there. It needed like a trigger. It was like a knock on the door, okay, okay, now it's time to come out. And then it
Yeah.
came out,
Wow.
right?
I think this often
Exactly.
happens that when we go through several things, हमारे बचपन में especially, like we say, and the root cause is often hidden there. Not
Yes.
necessarily extremely when you are a small kid. It could also be during your school or your college days, and often that personality or that, I always say this model that we think we are at that point of time at the age of 18,
Yes.
19. In fact, I met one of my students today who's just today she's of course 30-year-old lady who's looking out to find love in her life, but
Hmm.
somewhere the 18-year-old client, she is yet to believe in herself as to why is she good enough. And there were many things that she did back in the day where she just did them, she took those decisions, she was happy about those decisions, but today she regrets them because the family and the society tells her to regret them.
Yes.
But when
Yes.
we actually explored the opportunity together,
Yes.
that's when she realized that, hey, I shouldn't regret them. They are the right decisions I took.
Yeah.
And today, with time, she has come with the acceptance that, okay, what I'm doing today, or rather, it's a trigger of the fact that for so many years, I've let everybody else take decisions for me. And telling me
Yes.
that all the decisions I did were wrong is why today I don't have the confidence. And I feel like even that decision, which was made correctly back in the day, is a wrong
Yes.
one, which is affecting
Absolutely.
everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I truly agree with what you're stating here, and I hope that this therapy and the sessions that you're talking about really help people. But tell me, then we have an interesting question, and I don't know if this is possible. But is
Okay.
it possible to practice hypnotherapy on oneself?
Yes, of course. I do it on myself all the time.
Really?
So
Wow.
it, yeah. So in fact, very recently I've started this. I was detected with COVID probably a month back. And the post COVID symptoms that I had were, my
Hmm.
first 2 weeks were hunger. Like I was getting hungry like crazy. I was wanting to eat all day, all the time. Stomach was just not filling up. Mind is telling me, you need more, you need more, you need more. I knew that it's a phase and
Right.
it'll go. So I had my ways of telling my mind, okay, no, I don't need this. I would make different pictures in my mind so that the food doesn't come. It's like if I think about a donut, if I tell you think about a donut, I tell the audience to think about a donut will come in their mind.
Of
So then
course.
it's just about switching that state, switching what you're showing your mind, telling your mind, which I figured. But when it comes to the anger, I suddenly started getting very, very angry. So last 2.5 weeks, I don't know, I have these temper tantrums where 1 second my temper just shoots up and then suddenly it'll come down and then the crying will start and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I knew that it is an effect of the post COVID. I've heard from one or two people who are sort of experiencing the same thing. So then I was like, okay, now it's time to take things in my hands. So then I started, doing the hypnosis. So I didn't have to go back in time. This was more of a suggestion therapy. Suggestion therapy is
Right.
what I do after the regression, where you're commanding, giving certain instructions to your mind, where you're rewiring those patterns that have been created,
Hmm.
creating new neural pathways to the mind, saying, if you feel this, this is, you're feeling it like this, but you want to feel, you are feeling, good, you are a calm person. So I'm sort of, I just recently started that and I'm rewiring and, telling my mind I like to be calm, I'm a calm person, I'm cool,
Yeah.
it's so it's very easy to do it even on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I call what you say this symptom that happens when, especially when you're feeling a lot of hungerness comes into you, or you feel hungry. I feel it makes you hangry. I mean, this happens
Yes.
with me. That if I want food and if I don't get food on time,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel I get agitated that it's my time to eat food and I'm not getting the kind of food I want around. And
Yeah.
then, of course, subconsciously, I got to make myself feel okay, fine. Just like pop in some, whatever food, nuts, whatever you get around for a while till you reach
Yeah.
your favorite restaurant and then you get that kind of food. I think that's what is playing here with the
Yes.
subconscious and conscious
Yes.
mind.
Yes.
And also the last bit where you mentioned about, immediately getting angry and then realizing how to come back to yourself
Yes.
and training
Yes.
yourself. I think this can also be called as like maintenance. Everything has a maintenance phase. So while you've
Yes.
gone through the whole hypnotherapy, and now that you
Yes.
understand what hypnotherapy is all about, you know how to practice it on yourself. It's more
Yes.
like reviving it every now and then back, and then making
Absolutely.
sure that it's worked for you. Wow, this
Yeah.
is interesting, because that means that once a person has had a session with you, they can also make sure that this can be again utilized by them on themselves, or at least practiced by
Of
themselves
course,
in the
of
future.
course. See, the beauty about hypnotherapy is that, yes, while it works on the subconscious mind, if you work consciously and parallelly and take the actions as well, and when you understand how your mind works and you catch yourself in those moments in the day, it's those micro moments of decisions of whether this behavior is going to help me or it's not, and what is it that I really want. So it's like you're working consciously and subconsciously parallelly. Once you get the hang of that, that's when you will get control on your life. That's when you will get control on your day. And then life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. You're making it happen for you.
Absolutely,
So yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, this is definitely an interesting insight. And even after being a coach, I feel like telling you, Tanvi, I need to give this a try with you. So
Please do.
yeah, because you never know, and I'm always open to discovering what's new. And frankly speaking, sometimes a coach fatigue also sets in. When
Yes.
you're talking to people, when you're listening to their stories, when you're giving them, not giving them solutions, but rather they finding their solutions while we're having those conversations with them. It's
Yeah.
interesting sometimes to just step back and reevaluate yourself. So you never know when you will hear a ring from me saying, "Listen, let's do this together again." This will be interesting. So looking forward to
Sure.
doing that, Tanvi. But thank you so much for your time. And I think this session really helped me more than the audience. I don't know. I'm sure the audience also enjoyed the session, and they will hear and they will leave back comments, and we'll know more about it. But a very different and a unique insight on hypnotherapy. And thank you so much, Tanvi, for taking time for this.
Thank you so much for having me over. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much. It felt like I was chatting with you. I knew that 30 minutes would be nothing for both of us to chat and, like, take away time quickly. So thank you so much. And before we leave, to all our audiences who are listening to us and who are going to watch us, keep loving our shows and show us your love for this episode. And if you like these kind of interesting subjects, please let me know. And I'll be more than happy to cover them in the ongoing series that we have of our episodes. So until then, it's a sign off from me, Khushbu Ved. Thank you so much, everyone.